Hey everyone! Welcome back to Hi.Net, where we dive deep into the wildest and most epic moments from the world of comics. After Rex betrays him, Mark begins to panic. He hears Kregg knock on the door and quickly thinks of a plan. Mark tears out his hair into a mohawk and trades costumes with the deceased alternate Mark to resemble his counterpart. Kregg looks in surprise at the carnage, and Mark acts angrily to convince Kregg that he is the counterpart Mark. Kregg asks what happened, and Mark lies about their deaths. Mark demands that Kregg take over his Emperor duties so that he can cover his escape. Mark heads to the Team base and sees Robot in his disfigured body, threatening to kill him. Robot asks how he knows his name, and Mark says that Eve told him about him. Robot reveals that Mark's counterpart had killed all the team members in their dimension. Mark explains that he is from another dimension and is confused. After talking, Mark leads Robot into the Pentagon to work on getting him back to his home dimension. Kregg asks who he is, and Mark sternly states that he's the one to continue the project. Mark goes into the room, and Robot reveals that he has gathered all the previous work. Robot reveals that his dimensional counterpart had cared for Eve but didn't share her views. He also explains that when his father asked him to join the Viltrum Empire, he tried to convince his friends to help take over the planet. They refused, and Mark killed them and Rex, turning Eve against him. Days later, Robot updates Mark on the progress he's making. He also says that he has no reason to help Mark, as Mark leaving the dimension could mean his death. Robot reveals that it will take at least 5 months to finish. Mark comes up with an idea and asks if the Mauler twins are available. Mark goes to see them and Mauler attempts to fight him. Mauler tells him how he had killed his clone. They continue fighting, and Mark manages to convince him to help. Mark reveals his plan to Robot to clone his body so that Robot could transfer into it, much like his reality Robot did with Rex's clone. He asks that Mark keep a closer eye on Mauler since he doesn't trust him. Over the months, Mauler builds the cloning machine and takes a sample of Mark's blood to serve as the catalyst for Robot's new body. Mark also sends a transmission to the Viltrumites, telling them not to rescue him or attempt to cover up the project. The alternate Mauler notices that Mark isn't from the same dimension, and Mark confirms this. Mauler says that he should trust him since he has seen the error of his world domination mentality. Weeks later, Mark reveals what his robot has done to Robot's counterpart, comparing the actions of Mark's counterpart. Mark puts Robot on the cloning machine, and the alternate Mauler starts the transfer process. Mark thanks him, and the proximity alarm is triggered, revealing that the Viltrumites have arrived. Mauler panics while revealing to Mark that they brought the monster. Anissa, Conquest, Kregg, and Lucan arrive, with Anissa holding an infant-sized Amanda. Conquest asks if she's sure about it. Anissa says that it will send a message. An unsure Conquest argues that it took a long time to fight her before. Anissa throws the alternate Amanda, and she transforms into her monster form, larger than the size of the bridge on the base itself. Mauler reveals that the process is done and asks that he go. Mark opens the dimensional portal and reminds Robot to be stern with them to believe that he's Mark. The newly cloned Mark tells them that they weren't supposed to rescue him and says that he has changed. He adds that Amanda must be stopped and that this is a new beginning for the Viltrum Empire. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Mark Grayson's intense journey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Hi.Net